Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman channel. Well, I know it's been a while. I'm kind of slow to getting these videos together. But today, I'm actually just recently acquired a new blade here. And I'm really excited about this one because I've been kind of looking for one of this style for a while. But I haven't really found a company or a maker who, you know, has made one. But this is the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Exclusive Esee JG5 is what it's called. It's a Nessmuk style. There's a lot of Nessmuk fanboys out there. It was, I don't know if he designed it, but it was made famous by George Washington Sears, famous woodsman back in the day. So, yeah, so I'm actually pretty excited to try messing with this knife. Let's get it to the woods here. So, let's just talk about what this knife is real quick. It's made by Esee, has Rowan heat treating on it. It's Smoky Mountain Knife Works Exclusive. It's a Nessmuk style. It's 1/8 inch thick. Has really sharp spine on it, which I think it's pretty well close to what LT Wright has. Has these sculpted Rocky Mountain tread style micarta grips on there, and at first glance, or even looking at it on the internet, you would think that these might not be all that comfortable, but these things just really work good for your hands here. And it comes with a leather pouch style sheath. I have not wet formed this one like I usually do. Arlo, come on, bubby. Come on. I got the poodles with me. But, yep, this is what it comes with. Okay, so the first task I'm going to try with this, and now granted, this is brand new out of the box. I have not done nothing to this knife. It's came out of the box. It's hair shaving sharp. I mean, this thing is stupid sharp. Really appreciate that. I'm going to just do some light batoning with this thing. Now this thing's not going to be just your super batoner because it is only 1/8 inch thick, and you know, it's more of a skinning knife design. However, the Nessmuk was also kind of intended for kind of a general camp use knife. So, got my good old handy beating stick here. Now this thing does have a full flat grind on it, which Esee I think does a great job with. This thing's going right through it. Actually, quite surprised. Like I said, when I seen this knife, I knew I had to have it. They also made the PR4 in this style, but it didn't quite appeal to me as much as this one did. This thing for smaller or batoning tasks is actually working really well. I'm getting a decent little stick. Let's try something a little bigger here. This is hickory. That's hickory. I got a lot of cedars and hickory around here. Or not. Second knot right there. That's just gonna break off there. But You guys get the point though. This thing, for its size, I actually think this knife is much more capable, and I'm not generally a big 1/8 inch thick type of knife guy. I generally like a little thicker, and if I was gonna totally choose my preference, this thing would be 5/32. But this thing can do a lot more than what most 1/8 inch thick knives can do. Okay, so I'm going to be doing some feather sticks here with this knife. I think this thing is going to just, not even using it yet, but just getting the feel of it and stuff, I think this thing's going to excel really well. But we'll see. Oh yeah, this thing can just make some super fine curls and such. Now I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to piss some people off, but I can safely say that this thing performs like a poor man's LT Wright, but I don't think there's like any shame in this knife at all. This thing performs great. I mean, I'll say it right now, I'd rather have this than my LT Wright regular Genesis. This thing performs really well. I automatically know when I like a knife when I get it, and I can't hit playing with it. Ammo! Sorry, that's our shepherd doodle. He's the protective one out of the two. Try another thing. So, this knife, when feather sticking, I've been finding that if I start with just a sweep, it just really just does a lot of the work for you. But yes, this thing can feather stick really well. Alright, so while I got the same angle and setup here, I'm going to do some notch making here. Just do a basic square notch. Man, that thing bites in really good. That's perfect right there. Alright, let's try just a regular like tent steak style notch here. Okay, we'll just do some work with it here. See how well it feels on the hand. I mean, that's pretty good too. The thing, I'm really liking this. Like I said, I think thus far the only thing I wish I did differently was make it 5/32 instead of 1/8, but it performs really well as is. Alright, so the next little test I'm going to do with this knife is I'm going to just do a little bit of chopping here, and I know this is a lot more than what you'd ever chop with, and I know this knife is not a chopping knife. Although I feel if it was 5/32, it probably would chop a little better and perform in a lot of areas better. But however, this is a 1/8 inch thick knife, and it's not going to do that great. But I feel that this design actually can do a little bit of work. So I got a piece of cedar here. Let's try see what we can get out of it. I mean, it's not taking out anything huge by no means. But for a lot of your camp stuff, it's gonna do the trick. Alright, so another task I'm going to do with this little knife here is I'm going to do some light delimbing. Now, I'm not going to do some, you know, huge delimbing because it's a small knife, but this thing just slice right through stuff. Pretty easy. You know, you can use this to make your steaks with and stuff like that. And I have to say, this thing is holding its edge really well, even after the batoning and chopping and stuff. Still shaving hair right off my arm. Alright, so something else I'm going to try with this here is this knife has a super sharp 90-degree spine. I was so surprised because this thing is like on par with LT Wright sharp spines, and quite frankly, I think even sharper than some of them I've gotten. But I'm gonna see how well I could like debark and create some fluff with this thing. So let's just try this out. Oh my gosh, this thing just destroys that cedar. Look at all that fluff right there. Tear all that cedar right off of there. While I'm at it here, I got some tinder here out of my box, or out of my pack. I'm going to see how well it does with a 90 or a ferro rod. I'm sure it's going to do great. I'm not using my feathers because my girlfriend already started a fire and threw them in the fire. So got my good old 6-inch ferro rod here. Let's see what this thing can do. So I know this thing's not a chopper, but this thing continues to impress me. So let's just do some downwards chops into the steak here, just to see what I can get here. Oh yeah, this thing has just so much bite to it. Especially if I could hit in this wide, broad spot here. But yeah, this thing for being as small as it is, performs so well. It performs like a larger knife than what it actually is. So something I'm going to be testing out here is how well I can use this thing to baton a tree down. Now obviously this thing, well, hell, this thing can kind of chop into it. It chops a lot better than most 1/8 inch thick knives. Hell, let's just try that. Let's chop down a little tree here. This ain't normally what you'd use this for, but hell, this thing's seeming like it does a lot better. Damn knife surprised me. Okay, so we're going to try this again, but I'm going to see if I can baton my way through this small little tree here using the Esee JG5. Oh yeah, I'm going to just go right through. This damn thing continues to surprise me. The more, like I keep saying through this video, the more I use this knife, the more I really like it. So as I've been saying, for the most part, this handle is like super comfortable. I haven't really tried any like reverse grips, so I'm just going to try that out a little bit. I'm not like super Joe bushcraft here. Oh, this piece is really hard. little awkward carrying. And I'm not like, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's a very comfortable handle. Reversing like this, it's kind of a little awkward, and I think it's because this part here curves back into your hand, and so it just kind of makes things a little awkward to carry it, trying to, you know, do this type of shit. But, you know, I think that's kind of silly to begin with. So, but I know a lot of the bushcrafty guys kind of like that stuff, so I'll kind of check that part of it out as well. Alright, so another task I'm going to try with this is I'm going to see how well this thing can feel as like a tactical blade. Yes, I know it's not a tactical blade. All the people's going to be like, oh, that's a Nessmuk. It's, you know, hunting, fishing, or, you know, hunting camp knife, skinning knife, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's going to do all that great. Okay? However, just in case if this happens to be the blade on you, if, you know, God forbid something ever attacked you and you have the God-given right to defend yourself, then, you know, how well this thing can handle. Oh, if it's going to like twist around and stuff. I wish I brought my gloves just in case, but, you know, I didn't. But let's just try this thing out. I think this thing's going to be very fast in hand, but let's just try it out. Okay, so stabbing with it, I'm a little concerned about, because, I mean, there is a little bit of a guard, but it's not much. It really ain't much at all. So, and it's not going to stab very well either with that just swept up blade. I mean, it doesn't really come to a fine point. I might try it just a little bit and do kind of like a hammer grip here to make sure my hand don't slip. I mean, that's not too bad. Doing a little tip testing here. Now this is kind of more tactical knife type of shit, but I like to test everything to its fullest. Tip is still straight as can be. She held up. Something else I guess we can try. That pommel looks like it can do one hell of a attitude readjustment. Let's just test it out here real quick. Oh, hell yeah. Can't see that from your angle, but that's all just pommel damage. So yeah, hell, I got cedar still stuck to my pommel there. But yeah, that pommel actually is really good. I would like to see Esee use this handle shape a lot more. I think if they made like, I really think if they made like a 3/16 thick 6-inch or 7-inch version of this, use these same handles, hooked up with a TKC, got some like G10 grips for this thing would be like stupid awesome. And by the way, Esee, if you're watching this, use this coating. This is so much cooler than that damn black traction coating. Okay, so after I've been beating the hell out of this thing, you know, how is it retaining its edge? Well, it's still, after all this, still has that bite that it's still just shaving hair. And let's try some synthetic material. Okay, so this is 550 cord. Just cuts right through it. Now I don't know where all the quote tactical gurus seem to get that you have to have serrated edges to cut synthetic materials. I've always hated serrated edges, and I'm glad the Esee ain't too big on them. I think they got some of their models that they offer with serrated edges, but you can also get it in a plain edge version as well. Okay, so as you all been noticing throughout the video, I really like this knife. I am so glad Esee made this. I just wanted to show some competitive options though. Obviously, I think that the market that Esee's trying to compete with is LT Wright. So I do not have an LT Wright Nessmuk. I was actually really considering getting one until I seen this one. And this one, I don't know what it was, but it really caught my attention. And I'll have to say, I think LT Wright's going to have one hell of a time competing with this. And just like I think they're having a hell of a time competing with the PR4. But, you know, like this is the regular Genesis. Got it in full flat grind. I like full flat grinds a lot. Another one that would be a good competitor is this one's the Forest Trail. This is like one of my favorite LT Wrights I have. Just in general, I think this one's like the perfect size. I like the thickness. The 5/32 thickness I personally think is a little superior to the 1/8 inch, but I really like this Nessmuk style blade. I will say they both come with a pouch leather sheath. The LT Wright pouch sheath is much better. I'm just going to say that. Obviously, this is a much nicer sheath than the one Esee comes with. I already showed it in the video and I got it on my belt, so I'm not going to take it back off and show you again. Another one, you know, if you just want something that is more modernized and more of the tactical line, you know, a good old classic SE4. And it comes with a great sheath. This one, as you can tell, is beat to hell. I still EDC this one pretty regularly. So it kind of has a competitor to it right now, but that I kind of switch out with, but I still EDC this one a lot. But these are just some competitive options. Move those out of the way real quick. Something else I was going to show you guys is, okay, so this is just a 1/8 inch thick kind of camp knife. You know, it's not going to do everything. So what would be great to, you know, use with this knife if you're going more on like an extended camping trip or going to be building shelters is, I think if you had like a combination of this knife with the Esee Hungless 2, which I have not used this one very much at all, but I could already just tell by the way it feels in hand and stuff, it's gonna be great. I almost like the feel of this one better than I do even the regular Esee Hungless, and I think a good axe. This is the Holtefors classic hunting axe. I've already did a video on that. But I think like the combination of these three would really complement this knife, and this knife would really complement these other two tools. So that's just some ideas. Alright, so we're going to be wrapping this video up. My overall thoughts on this knife is I really like this. I would highly suggest this knife. This is one of my favorite ones that I have tested thus far. And that's saying a lot because I've tested a lot of them. But every time I grab this knife, I just want to keep grabbing it and using it some more. I think there's a few things that, you know, could make it better. I think if it was just slightly thicker, I think it would actually perform a lot better, like a 5/32. But, you know, it can't be everything, I suppose. It holds up very well. It does perform better for as small as it is. It does more than what you would think it would do. I think it outperforms like some of the LTs that's in its size range, and I think it's based on just how broad the blade is and the handle shape overall. But so my overall impressions, go get one if you like this shape and all that good stuff. If I could just say one more thing, Esee, make a larger version of this. I think like a 6-inch 3/16 thick version with like a little broader blade on it would be a very neat knife to try out. But yeah, I'm really super impressed with this thing. I'm glad that Esee and Smoky Mountain Knife Works got together, made this possible. With all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.